Hello, everyone. I'm Eli Frank, and I wanted to talk about something. There is a conversation I don't like to have. It's a conversation that I dread a lot, that it's like, it fills me with absolute horror and terror, and I don't like talking about it with my family specifically. It's about who do I want to be when I grow up. I'm a young adult, and I'm about to go to college. I'm about to get education, to get a basically I'm about to go to college. I'm about to get educated. I'm about to get a job with that education, etc., etc. I already got a job. I already know how to struggle with that. That's not my point. My point is that they always ask me if I have a plan for the future, if I plan to be someone. The answer is always no. Like, I genuinely don't know. It's hard for me to even plan my morning, even harder for me to plan my future. I don't. There's like general stuff that I know. I want to have money. I want to have a house. I want to have children maybe when I'm way older. But talking in like 5 years from now, who do I want to be? I have no fucking clue. Like, genuinely, are you sure? It's been a minute and a half. I have no clue. Genuinely, I don't have any clue who I want to be. It's mostly because people tend to have idols. They tend to have people that they idolize, that they want to be like. I don't have anyone like that. Genuinely, I tend to not want to idolize people because then suddenly turns out they're horrible people and their online personalities or their celebrity personalities is like just the point of the iceberg, and in reality they're horrible, messed up people. And that has traumatized me a lot with not wanting to idolize anyone ever. That's part of the reason why I never like say like, oh, I want to be like them, I want to be this, I want to be that. Most of the times I genuinely don't have any idea who I want to be when I grow up. But most importantly, I don't know who. Like, there's some things I want to change about my life. There's some things I want to change about the way I look, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I believe, the way I, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of maturing to do. I definitely see myself way more mature, way more confident, way less insecure. But I don't see myself like in an office or with an actual job or as someone with actual authority. So that's maybe one of the reasons why they constantly ask me this question, because my family is very, 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 how is it said? They want the best for me. They want the best for everyone. And for them, the best is being the very best. Like, it's getting to the top. And when I see myself, I don't see that really. I don't like being the one in charge. It's way too much responsibility for me, even though I know I can handle it for experience, from experience. I don't like it. I don't like the concept of being the one that's always relied on. It's not insecurity, like I said, I do believe that I can be someone like that. It's more like I don't. I simply don't. I wanna make my own thing, I wanna be my own person. So when they ask me who I want to be, that tends to be the answer. I just want to go with the wind. I just want to be myself. I just want to do the stuff that I know I'm gonna like to do. Even if that stuff doesn't get me very high, very high up the professional ladder, the professional roof, whatever it's called. That's part of the reason why I'm studying what I'm studying, and that's part of the reason why I'm running this YouTube channel. Because I like being my own boss. I like ordering myself around. I like doing the stuff that I like to do. It's an identity crisis that I have always had as a kid, since I was a kid. Because as a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I figured out that I live in a very, very poor city and with very low resources. So then I wanted to be realistic. Then, as a teenager, I wanted to be a voice actor, which is something that I still believe on, that I can do if I really want to try. Like, if I go to classes and stuff, I could. And it's something that still really makes me passionate about. But it's a struggle. And when I became an adult, a recent adult, because I've been an adult for a year now, which is pretty messed up, and I'm gonna be an adult for 2 years in a few months. It's weird. It's genuinely weird. When I just became an adult, I wanted to become a writer. I wanted to write stuff. Because one of the things that a lot of people say that it's very, like, one of my virtues, a lot of people say, is my ability to speak, to write, to get something across with words in way better ways than a lot of people do. I have potential to actually be a good writer and to actually write pretty good content, but it's a struggle, mostly because, and it's something that I already talked about in my other videos, when you do something, you kind of expect to be good at it already, or you expect to receive attention. And when none of the two things happen, it's really hard to keep going. That's kind of the reason why I didn't become a writer, even though I know I have the potential for it. Like, I began writing books somewhere around middle school, and then I read those like a year ago, and I remember them being pretty kind of good, but at the same time they were very green. They were from someone very inexperienced, and that's part of life. You don't really get that experience until you try, but people already expect you to be experienced when you do the stuff that you like. It's hard for me to look at my friends and my family and see all the stuff that they do without immediately feeling like trash, that I don't do enough, that I don't do as well as them. Even though I have received messages from a lot of people saying that they wish they did what I do at my age, which is basically have a job and stuff, simple stuff like knowing how to drive, or having a 9 to 5, well, in my case it's a 9 to 6, and actually being responsible and go to work every day and walk to my, because I walk, I know how to drive, but I don't have a car. Have that drive to actually want to work and actually want to get paid. It's something that a lot of people really struggle with, and it's something that they call me out on, like saying like, how do you do it? I just want money, man. And I don't want to be bed rotting in my bed every day. It's not really out of want. A lot of the time, I have to. I have debts, I have to work to pay them. And now that I'm gonna go into college, it's like I didn't know who I want to be, so just getting a degree and using that as a way to be someone is a pretty good alternative. And also I want new friends because I have very little of them because of my tendency to just ditch my friends after a few years, which is a problem that I should really work on. Really work on, because every day I'm terrorized that I'm gonna ditch my closest friends out of nowhere, because that's what I tend to do a lot. But To return to the original theme, who I want to be is probably someone fun. In a conversation that I had, one of the deep conversations that I had with one of my best friends at the time, because I ditched them, I said that I didn't want to become someone boring. That one of the things that I fear the most is just getting like an office job, getting paid just decently enough to live, not have a family, not have friends, never go to parties, just be an NPC basically. I dread that a lot. It's one of my biggest fears, and it's one of the reasons why I avoided going into college for basically 2 years. I didn't want to just be that. I didn't want to just be boring, to be like, oh my god, I have a job now, I have responsibilities, I can go to parties, but at the same time don't even have a family to like have fun at home or anything, just be alone. And when I look at the future, I don't look at that. That is like a 12% of happening. That's like a very small chance that it happens to me. But it could be, it could happen, and that terrifies me a lot. And there's the other like face of the coin that it's like I don't succeed, and then I become, how is it called, homeless or something like that. And that actually sounds more fun for me. I know that it's like a messed up way to see the world, because in reality I don't know how it is to live like that, so probably it is worse. But at the same time, for me it sounds better just because of the fact that, hey, maybe you can do some bullshit on the street and be funny instead of being just a boring adult. Who knows? It's a struggle, it's always been a struggle, and I understand when people talk to me with such enthusiasm about who they want to be or how rich they want to be when they grow up. When I say that I want to be rich or something like that when I grow up, I don't really mean having like a car of the year or incredibly fashionable clothes. For me, someone that has actually had a job and actually worked with minimum salary for basically a year and a half, being rich is just having like your own home and I don't know, 20-year-old something car, and just having clothes instead of just having two pairs of pants that you regularly wash and use every week and every day of the week. That for me is being rich. Having a full fridge, that sounds like you're a rich person. That sounds like someone who's rich. Because for me, that is a dream. That is genuinely something that I don't have. Having like good equipment too is like being rich. I wish I had the microphones or the PCs or anything like that to actually make content, way better content that I do. But instead I have to settle with this, which it works. I can make it work. I know that I can make it work. But like I said, being rich for me is way less than what a person actually sees by being rich. Because even when I say having your own home, I mean like your own 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom home. I don't even mean like, oh, having 3 bedrooms, one for guests, two for people, and having 1 kitchen and 3 bathrooms and a second floor, which is kind of how my house looks like right now. But because I share it with my family, we're 5. Like, it doesn't really seem like a big house. It's just like, oh, it's just a family house. When I say like my own house, I really don't mean like just a tiny apartment is everything for me. It would be everything for me. And being so conformist definitely does sound sad when you look at it. Like, it genuinely sounds pathetic. It's like, oh, you don't want to be more than that. You don't want to be like extremely successful and have like your own company and be a millionaire. And no, not really. In my opinion, that just means that you'll find success in just keep growing, and you won't feel accomplished no matter how much you grow. Reaching satisfaction for me is something that, oh my god, my throat is struggling. Reaching satisfaction is something that I really want to do. Feeling actually satisfied with my life is something that I want to achieve by the end of it. And I think that that's something that people who constantly want to achieve more and more and more and more is something that they can do. Like, people who constantly see like, oh my god, I want to be better, I want to work harder, I want to, etc., 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 tend to miss the point of life. You don't work harder the more you grow old. You work harder from like 15 years old to 30, and then after that you have to work less because your body is starting to fail, because you are beginning to get old. At 30 years old you're still fine. At 40 is when you really begin to notice that, hey, your past has come, your time has passed. Don't work harder, just work enough. Don't really try harder. Probably your life is fine the way it is, just conform with it. And it's something about the human body, because it's like the middle life crisis, that you start reflecting on the past and start being like, oh my god, if I did this, oh my god, if I did the other. For me, it doesn't happen because I'm too young still. Like, obviously, I'm not in my middle life at 20 years old. But, for example, my grandpa and I talk a lot, and he's on his end life crisis. And he constantly talks about, well, it's the whole reason why I'm having this video, because he made me think about all of this stuff. But he's having an end life crisis where he is like, oh my god, maybe I didn't provide enough, oh my god, maybe it wasn't enough, maybe. And it just hurts, man. Because when you look at him and everything that he's done to our family, is like, yeah, man, you've done enough. Like, chill, genuinely chill. You shouldn't be working at your 70 years old. You should be retired. You're actually retired when you keep working. So for him to be like, to believe that he didn't do enough, it's something that I don't want to happen to me. Like, at all. Something that it's even a worse fear than being boring. To die believing that I didn't do enough. And he's suffering from it. And it sucks ass seeing him suffer from it. But at the same time, it's not like he's going to get help from anywhere, because my family dreads therapy and stuff like that. They don't really advocate for it. Pills as well, they really, like, I had to struggle a lot to get the pills that help me, because my family doesn't really like that stuff. And it's obvious why, because they want to be as cheap as possible, because we're poor. Not poor, we are middle low. But yeah, it's a struggle. It's always a struggle. So at some point, you're gonna have a crisis. It's something that's normal. It's something that happens to everyone. When you're a young adult, when you get to 18, you immediately get your first life crisis, which is like the adult crisis, where you have to suddenly get even more responsible than you were before. You have to go and get your identifications, your, what is it called? All your bank accounts. You have to go and get like permission to work, your driver's license, all of that stuff. Suddenly it's like, it just knocks you. And then also you have to go into college, and also you have, probably, if your family isn't very, how is it called? Just doesn't have a lot of money, you have to pay your own college, which is what happened in my case. I have to pay my own college, and that's why I'm working. It's a lot, and it overwhelms you very, very hard. In my opinion, school is more overwhelming than being an adult, but that's because just of the way that I work. Because when I work alone, which is basically how I run my life, it's soothing. It's like just seeing things come to fruition. But in school, you have to work with people, and that absolutely breaks me in half. So yeah, but for normal people, it's the other way around. When you have to do stuff by yourself, when there's nobody grabbing your hand and telling you how to do things, it's scary as hell. And that's adulthood. It's doing things by your own. Oh my god, please don't interrupt me again. Hello, kitten. It's doing stuff by yourself. It's being alone. It's actually noticing that your parents won't be with you all the time. Your family won't be with you all the time. That you need to learn to be an adult. And nobody really teaches you how. Most of the cases. Sometimes they do. School doesn't, for example. But maybe you had good parents that really teach you how to be an adult before you even become an adult. Then again, there's a lot of time. There's like, don't feel bad if you haven't achieved anything by 19 years old. Don't be ridiculous. Like, genuinely. You still have years to come. You still have a lot of time in your life. So don't feel bad if you're like, oh my god, I'm not a millionaire by 19, or I don't have a career, or... Because, in my opinion, it's the rule that you still live at your parents when 19, that you don't have a job at 19. Because you're still a kid at the end of the day. It's still a teen. Like, 19, that's still a teen. A teen. Take your time, learn everything, and don't get overwhelmed, because it will make you dread life. When I look at my friends and I see them, well, specifically one friend of mine, already has like a lot. It's more than envy, it's admiration. Because I know that they struggle to get what they are, where they are. And I know that it's something I would never be able to do. Just be as independent as them and successful. So yeah. But my time will come. Someday I'll be as... Well, I wish that I'll be as successful and independent and make as much money as they do. Because at the end of the day, you want to live instead of barely scrape by. I know that this video maybe has caused identity crisis on somebody, because it has on me. But at the same time, I thank you for listening. Who are you? Who you wanna be? It doesn't matter in reality, as long as you're a good person. That's everything. Thanks for listening, and goodbye. My name has been Eli Frank.